show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. Excited for today's guest. He's the CEO of HiveMind and the host of Hive With Us podcast. Very excited. He is what he helps is he helps anyone in the real estate industry to automate their business, get more business. So I'm excited to be rocking out today with Daniel Martinez. Hey Daniel, you ready to rock?
Let's rock. Let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Well, we always start off with a good note here. So tell me a story of success in your business that we can be inspired by.
Success in my business. A lot of people, they have like personal whys and why they want to do for time freedom and family freedom and all that stuff. I really didn't know what my business why was, and you always have to have a business why because you really have to be passionate about what you do. And on a good note, that's what you really want to do. So one of my clients hit a 6-figure month, and I'm like, what in the world? And they're from spreadsheets and paperwork and all this stuff. So for them to accelerate their business to that level, I'm like, if I have one client that can do it, I can have thousands that can do it. So that's really kind of been my business why. And that's where I end on a good note where I'm really trying to help businesses accelerate their business because a lot of people aren't using CRMs as a whole. So it's one of those things where we're trying to help businesses just do better and become better and be more efficient and get more business as a whole.
Yeah. And you know what? We were talking just before this. I actually, I've been in business for 15 years and I recently just started using a CRM. I was using spreadsheets before and it has improved quite a bit. So I think people sort of think that, oh no, I can handle this with my spreadsheets, but I'm not sure if it can as effectively as you can with some sort of automated process, right?
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, 80% of businesses, they don't even use one for the first 5 years. You're 15 years in and barely starting using one now. It can really take your business to the next level, especially if you're a small local business, solopreneur. If you're used to wearing all those hats, like there's certain hats that you can automate so you don't have to effectively use some of your well-timed points of the day just to do this stuff. So you can definitely automate it and help and be more effective with your time.
Yep, totally true. And I mean, I think that is the thing is that like it does take a while before you start to use it, and I think it ends up happening when you get too busy. Like I had too many things, too many plates spinning, and there was too many leads out there that I was starting to get confused, and that's when I went to the CRM. But I think now in hindsight, I should have done that in the beginning, and then I wouldn't have gotten to that point where I was actually where leads were just disappearing because I wasn't following up with them because they were in a spreadsheet somewhere that I just missed, right?
100%. And like, it's just one of those things where follow-up is key. It takes 7 to 12 contacts just to convert that sale. And if you're not out there actually actively working it, it's just going to go to somebody else and somebody else is going to monetize that lead. And if you put precious dollars and time to nurture and get that lead in general, you're just wasting money.
Yeah, and depending on what your business is, but most of our businesses, I mean, someone who's ready to buy is ready to buy. They're looking for someone to buy from. And if you're not following up, you're right. They're following up with somebody else or, someone else is following up with them. So it's just a matter of like, I guess there are probably some businesses where they're not ready to buy. But that doesn't make any sense. Like any business, you're really looking for people that are ready, that are looking for you. And if you're not doing that follow-up, somebody else is. So now with the good note comes a bad note. Of course, that's one of the bad notes. But I'm wondering, like, is there something specific that you could share with us that, just didn't go as planned and something we can learn from?
Yeah, originally, my first business I went into was trucking. So I'm originally a truck driver, used to load trucks, used to hand load trucks at some point. But one of the things I learned in business early on, I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now. was that not all businesses should be run by you. There's businesses out there that don't have as much profit margins, or maybe not worth your time, depending on where you're at in your entrepreneurship level. Like this is a pivot, start and pivot type thing. Most people fail multiple businesses before they find one successful one. But the thing about that is that you only need to find one successful one, and you're pretty much set for life. So a lot of times people will get stuck in like, I need to do this one thing, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But that's where you need to pivot into something better and see where the road takes you.
So how did you know that it wasn't for you? Like, what if you had just pushed through, I guess?
Oh, I took it. I mean, I did. It was one of those things where like I literally took it to I really couldn't anymore, and it stressed me out where I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it physically anymore, and it literally drained all my funds. So I did that for 2 years. My first years of entrepreneurship or with trucking, and I grossed $550,000 in 2 years, but I still lost 100,000. So, hey, don't laugh at me. We're talking about the bad note here.
That's totally normal.
But like it's one of those things where like people never talk about their failures, and I'm really glad you even have the segment on here, because like it's one of it, I'm not ashamed of not going through that lesson, because it's pushed me to bigger and better things, and I've learned from my mistakes, and I wouldn't change my journey of how I got here, because those are lessons I needed to get and grow past.
Yeah. Oh man. And I love talking about this too, because it is, I do find it funny when you look back in time and think about the mistakes that you made, because they're all funny now,
Oh
but at
yeah.
the time they were not funny. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say that you make $500,000 but lose 100,000. That is so normal, because people think, oh, I'm making all this money, which means I must be successful. But if you're spending more than you're making, then there's something going on there, right? And good on you for figuring it out. But I think that that's just it. I mean, there are lots of things you can do as an entrepreneur, and I think really entrepreneurship is more the mindset of it. Whether you're in this area or this area or this area, I mean, don't get married too much in that stuff, because maybe there's something better for you, right?
Yeah, there's a million ways to make $1 million.
Yeah, probably a billion to make a billion.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like I said, and it's crazy as it seems, but there's so many ways to make money out here. Don't get stuck in that one thing. And once your eyes are open to opportunity, you see opportunity around every corner.
And I think like if I'm, because I've done about well over 200 interviews now on this podcast, and like the interesting thing that keeps on coming up is it seems like we know intuitively whether we're on the right path or not, right? I mean, if and I very rarely talk to somebody who thought they were like everything was going great and then turned out it wasn't the right way. They sort of have this gut feeling, that they're not on the right path, and they have this gut feeling when they are on the right path, right?
It's uh it's like an intuition, and it gets better as you get older. I feel like older people they become wiser with age, but it comes with experience too. Um And like some things like there's a thing everybody that wants to become an entrepreneur. The one thing to become an entrepreneur is just start. Like 90% of the people will never start a business. They might have the aspirations to, but they're afraid or fearful, or they just won't do it. So if you just start, you're separating yourself. And then I always say this a lot too. If you continue and you're consistent, that's what separates you from everybody else. Because most people they'll fall off. And I always say this too, is like entrepreneurship it's a survival game. You survive long enough, you'll get there.
Yeah. And let's face it too, now, as opposed to 15, 20, 50, 100 years ago, getting started in a business is way easier, way less expensive. I mean,
Yep.
I think that's the thing, is a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business, and maybe I might not get it back. They feel like it's too much of a risk. But nowadays, you can start a side hustle while you're working a full-time job and grow that into a business, right?
100%. This information age has opened up so many doors to so many different ways to make money that weren't even known 30 years ago. Just because phones weren't a thing, internet wasn't a thing. Like all these things are so new, it kind of opened up different avenues where you can really go into anything you want to, and the information is out there readily on YouTube and podcasts and Google.
Yep.
It's just
Yep. Yep, no excuse nowadays. If you want to start a business, there's one out there for you. And like you said earlier, start somewhere. Find something simple to just kind of get, because a lot of the principles that you learn as an entrepreneur are totally transferable to just about any business you can do. And that's the important part, is to just get in there and do something, inexpensive to start. And then once you start to get the hang of it, then you can start to look into something. Maybe there is a business that you want to buy. And but before buying that business, why not start with something that doesn't cost a bunch of money first, right?
Well, I don't know if you know about this. This is what when we're looking to buy businesses in 2023, is that most businesses, 90% of businesses fail within the first 2 years of a new entrepreneurship venture. But if you acquire an established business, you have a 90% success rate.
I did not know that. That's really good information. Interesting.
It's 100% true. And then for everybody looking to think about buying businesses, right now the baby boomers are all retiring and passing away over till 2030. There's like 7 million baby boomers retiring, and 18% of those own businesses.
Oh, wow.
So there's going to be a huge transfer of wealth over the next 7 to 10 years that you might be able to just walk into a business and take over, just because the kids might not want anything to do with it. Their parents been a part of it their whole life, and that's something. They might have been a plumber for 50 years, and they don't want to be a plumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a plumbing business out there for sale right now, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I mean, like you say, if the business is already successful, well, then there isn't that much. I mean, there is some vision, and you are going to have to make some changes, I'm sure. But for the most part, that business is sort of dialed in already, right? And that first year of failure is long gone, right?
100%. The client base is already there. It's an already established business. It usually comes with employees that are already delegated to do their role. They've been in place for a long time. All these mom and pop businesses, they have 5 to 15 employees already there, already established, that if no one's there to take the reins, they're just going to close it.
Yeah. So
Just bottom
now,
line.
so now the goal is to start a nice, inexpensive business, build it up, make some money, go buy another business that baby boomers retiring from. It's a great plan.
100%. If you make that deal, let me know. We're going to talk
Okay.
about the podcast. We'll bring you back.
Perfect. So now let's talk a little bit about practice makes perfect, or practice makes progress. So tell me a little bit about your are you still learning? Are you still growing? What are you doing? What's your approach to practice?
I learn every day, and this is where I used to tell this to truck drivers. They hated this when I told them this. They were like, I used to hire drivers. I'm like, I got 15 years of experience, and I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, no, I've been doing this 15 years. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you've been doing the same thing over and over again for 15 years. You only have 1 year of experience with 15 of the same replicated year behind that. And they always used to get mad at me because I'm like, you never grew beyond that. You literally took this and you ran with it, and now that's all you do. So for everybody out there, it's entrepreneurship is definitely a growing game, and you grow as you get wiser. You grow with time, you grow with experience, you grow, and make sure you grow like up here every year, over year. Like, I've started trekking 5 years ago. Now I do software, real estate, and thing. I don't know what I'll do in the next 5 years. I have no idea. But it's one of those things where I'm growing my knowledge, I'm growing my um into my niches. I'm growing like all this stuff. There's this quote is like, what would you do if you started today? I'm like, well, I learned all this stuff over time. You can't take this away. You might be able to take my money, you might take my house, cars, all that stuff away, but you can't take this away. I can always replicate it because I have the experience and knowledge to take it to the next level. And it's all up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, my name is Anik Malafon from Mastering Ascension, and I've been working with Tim Melanson and the Creative Crew Agency for a number of years now. Tim is my go-to guy for all things technology, and his team have helped me to really create the platform that I need that represents my brand, my message, and connects me directly to my ideal clients. What I particularly love about Tim is before he starts to dive into the technology, he always makes sure that he understands what your global view is, what your ultimate goals are. So then that way you're not wasting a lot of time back and forth switching around technology or platforms. He creates something from the get-go that is scalable, which is highly, highly beneficial for any business. What I've experienced from Tim and his team is they're highly responsive. They are a wealth of information, and they're going to offer you the tools that you need to really make the mark that you want to make in the world. So that's my recommendation for Tim. He's awesome. You're going to love every minute. You won't regret it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my God, I bet you that did piss off a few truckers.
They hated it.
Yeah.
They hated
Well, and that's the thing about entrepreneurship is it's always changing. I mean, you're never going to have the same year twice, right? And
it. 100%.
I guess that, that just speaks to what kind of personality you are. I mean, if you're listening to this and you like that change and you thrive on it, well, then entrepreneurship's for you. But if not, that's okay as well, because every entrepreneur needs a solid workforce as well. So, there's something for everybody, right?
Yeah, and it's as crazy as it seems, but I heard this recently. It was that business isn't forever. Businesses like Blockbuster, you think they were the top of its game, and they just fell off because they didn't adapt. So you always have to adapt to the ever-changing times, because if you don't, you're just going to get left behind.
Beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about getting fans. I mean, this is probably right up your alley, isn't it? So what's your approach to to getting people that love what you're doing?
Number one is always be consistent. There's a lot that comes with that. There's repetition. If you look at my first episodes, they probably all suck, and I'm okay with that, because I knew it was a repetition thing. You got to put in the reps, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the hours. There was a thing I saw about like 10,000 hours to become an expert, and somebody retweeted it. It's like, no, it's 10,000 iterations that make you an expert. It's not the hours that you put in; it's the different forms and twists that you put on it itself that make you better. And it's just putting in the work, man. A lot of people in entrepreneurship, they expect fast money, quick gains, and hot chicks, but it takes a lot of everything to get to where you want. Like overnight success can take 10 to 15 years sometimes. It takes time, and you just got to put in the reps and wait for the wave to come.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, people see the overnight success and think that that's what happens, but really it's just that's when things clicked for that person. But there was
100%.
definitely years before that of hard work, to get to that point, right?
100%. And like I said, if you see an overnight success, good thing there's probably like 5 years behind that they were hustling at their job, or hustling by themselves in a dorm room. There's all that hustle period that they had to work to get there that you never even saw.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the skip trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.1listguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.
I used to be in wrestling in high school, and one of the quotes, and this is a weird one, I don't know where it came from, but one of the quotes that they did one year was, champions are made when no one's watching. And if anybody from high school listens to that, they're probably gonna bust out laughing. But it's one of those things where, like, you got to do stuff. You got to do stuff alone. You got to do stuff for a long time by yourself, and then eventually it comes to a point where now you can hire and take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think I heard similar quotes, and it's about character as well too, because that's the thing. I mean, people are great when they're taking selfies of themselves, giving money to a homeless person, but they're not doing it because of the good of their heart. They need that recognition for it, right? But that's not what makes you successful in just about anything. What makes you successful is the things you do behind the closed doors and how you act when you don't feel like it, right?
100%. It's a mindset game that and this is for everybody here. Like, everybody, if you haven't cried in your entrepreneurship journey, you ain't made it yet.
Yeah, there's some pretty tough times. Things just don't go as planned, and I mean, it's just it is what it is. But it's worth it though. Like, I mean, I think there was something else I was reading about. I think it was about parenthood and how people with kids, they have some pretty low points in their existence, but also it comes with the big highs too. So, if you don't have the big lows in your business, then you can't really experience the big highs as well. So I don't know. I always think it's worth it because when you do land something, when things do go your way, it's just so much more exciting than when you're kind of always on that even keel and really nothing's exciting and nothing's bad, right?
100%. And it's just things are gonna go bad. I always, this is a joke I make with my people that know me. I'm like, what day is it? It's a day ending in day. It's just another day. There's nothing you can do about it. If stuff doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way that day. It's just another day. When tomorrow changes and it's a new day, you gotta start fresh again.
Yeah, yeah. When something goes wrong for me, I'm like, okay, well, there's always like statistics and averages and stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, that's the bad thing that's supposed to happen today. So the rest of the day is going to be great. And I think that's, a lot of it is that mindset because, if you do let things get you down, then you're not going to come to the next appointment with the same type of enthusiasm and excitement, right?
Hmm. And you can be down. There's people that get put down and they never come back up. And it's depression hits and all that stuff hits, and the mind starts going racing. And you gotta let that stuff go because you can't move past forward. You gotta let that stuff go and just go on to the next place, next position, next sales call, and go at it again.
Yeah, and so I'd like to ask you, so is there any things that you do like to get yourself out of that funk when it happens?
Me, I'm naturally already ecstatic. I'm like a naturally happy person. My wife hates it. She's always like, I'm always the optimist and she's the pessimist.
Yeah,
She's always like, oh, it could be this and this. And I'm like, it is what it is.
yeah,
Tomorrow,
yeah,
tomorrow's the day. So like me and my wife are like complete opposites, but it's one of those things where like you, nothing really gets me down. Like stuff goes bad. I'm like, okay, it happens. People die every day. you know. I feel bad that it happened, but I mean, there's still tomorrow.
yeah. There's always ways to see the silver lining, right? I think a lot of it. I mean, I like podcasts. I like something that you can listen to that's going to bring you back up. Um, and I think that one of the things about working from home too is that it can get a little bit lonely about because you don't have the type of interaction with people that you might have in your workplace when you're constantly around them. So you do need ways to and maybe you need to make friends with Daniel here because he's always excited about stuff, right? So have some people in your network that are happy people, right?
And it's who you hang around, and this is where like me, I have to make time to leave the house because if I don't do that, I'll never leave the house, and that's just who I am. Like I'm a homebody. That's why I work from home. Whereas my partner, he's this front end sales guy. He goes belly to belly. He'll drive 2 hours to meet with the seller. And I'm like, that's not me. I'll sit at home with the kids. Like I enjoy my time with spending time with the family and spending time with the kids. But yes, I do have to work at some instances. Like right now, they're in the next room playing, which is why I'm like beating out because they're getting really loud. But over here, I'm over here working, and this is what I do. And this is what I enjoy to do. As soon as this call finishes, I can go to the next room and have lunch with them. And that's the joy of working from home that I really enjoy. And I hated like one of the big reasons why I pivoted out of trucking, not that I lost a bunch of money, that was one of the big reasons, but I was
Yeah.
away from home and I hated it. You away from home for days at a time, and it's like, what's the point? Like if you're working 24/7, why not work from home then?
Yep.
Somewhere else on the office or on the road.
Um,
It really takes a toll on your like it took a toll on my mental state just because I'm out here by myself on the road for 10, 12 hours a day and it just sucks.
yeah. So let's talk about the instruments. So, we work from home, we use tools. What kinds of tools do you use?
That's and like I try not to like be like a super pitch fest, but like I literally use HiveMind. Like HiveMind has literally changed my business, which is why I like offered a service to a lot of my clients because it's literally like taken me out of the business where I don't have to do this is what I do for my business. I do podcasts. Like in what place is you working in your business is creating content. That's what I do. I create content. So instead of actually working on the business or in the business, I work to do more marketing for the business, and that's what I do. So it's kind of outsourced and automated a lot of my marketing, a lot of my follow-up campaigns. They just go. I have outreach and people in place. Like you can automate with people or systems, and you really get really good when you do both. And that's just when you take your business to the next level. So like I said, I didn't start here. I was working and I had to make sure my team was trained to get here to this point where I'm at now. But now it's just like, let me focus on things that's going to bring in more customers, bring in more clients, and I'll let my team handle everything on the back end that needs to get handled. And I really focus on what's really important.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, and that's really good advice as well. Is get your team trained, get them to the point where they're running on their own, and then it's a matter of just that outreach, right? And podcasts are a great way to get the word out, because you get to meet people that have similar mindsets, right?
Yep, 100%. And it's just cross leveraging audiences, having new conversations, sharing new stories. Like I said, I like this I like this type of flow of podcast just because it's something different, and it's conversations that need to be had and heard. Just because, like, if your homebodies like us, you're not having these conversations unless you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I totally recommend it, of course, too. So now it is time for your guest solo. So tell me a little bit more about HiveMind then.
So HiveMind is a CRM community and mastermind. We teach and educate and help people automate and delegate their business. It's an email, texting, website, form, the basics of taking your business to the next level, because most people are using spreadsheets and paper. If you're ready to go to that next step, this is where we can help you out and take you out to the next step. We integrate with Stripe, Google My Business, text to pay invoicing, anything you need that's just stuff that you do with all these different tools. This can bring it all under one roof, so you're not spending so much money. Most of my clients save an average of $700 per month. We have a podcast and YouTube channel. YouTube has over 1,000 videos. Podcast has 250 episodes, probably 260 by the time this releases, 70, who knows. But it's just, we're just out providing a lot of content, information, and hopefully creating more millionaires and taking your business to the next level. So we hope you be one of those if you're listening to this.
Right on. So now you mentioned earlier that you're focused mostly on the real estate business, but this is not just for real estate agents, is it?
Oh, 100%. So the CRM is the backbone of every business. It's contacts, lead nurture, conversions, sales, reviews. Every business, no matter what you do, follows that same parameters. So you can be applied to any business. So I have a lot of clients that do a lot of different things, from podcasting, coaching, mentoring, and they do a lot of different types of stuff. I even have a car sales guy, like same thing, contacts, nurture, conversions, and reviews. It's the same thing. So we help a lot of different people in a lot of different niches, but we specifically help real estate people just because they need a lot of help. And there's a lot of niches out there that need a lot of help in their business. And like I said, we're just here to help everybody in the real estate space. So if that's you, come check us out, HiveMindCRM.io and at HiveMindCRM on all platforms.
So if I'm if I'm listening to this and I'm a real estate agent, what would be a good indication that I need your product right now?
Right now, are you struggling making contacts? Are you struggling to get in leads as a whole? Are you struggling to close any deals? I mean, that's the biggest thing. You need to get contacts, you need to get leads, and that's one of those things that is pivotal to your success. So if you're struggling with that, that's what we do. We help you bring in more leads to your business to convert and make more money, because that's the lifeblood of your business is leads.
Do you help them to do the conversion, to do the sales process as well?
Our system is help mostly used for outreach. We do have other like tiers of service that if they want inbound leads brought to them, we'll help facilitate that as well.
Right on. So how do we find out more?
At HiveMindCRM.io and at HiveMindCRM and all platforms. Like I said, we produce a lot of content. You can find us pretty easily.
Awesome. Right on. Well, thank you so much, Danny, for rocking out with me today. This has been a lot of fun.
No problem. Thank you, man.
Cool. To the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.
Thanks for watching this YouTube video. We hope you found value. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to watch more videos just like this one.